Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Women's Business Network, the Spotlight Show. I am your host, Marilyn Barker, and I am the director and one of the founders of the Women's Business Network. And today we are shining the spotlight on Pam Huseman with Organized Solutions. She is with the Vacaville, California chapter. And I'm so excited, Pam, that you're here today to get some organizing tips.
Yeah, I'd love to tell people what to do.
Awesome. All right. Well, welcome. So let's see. You've been with the WBN, the Vacaville chapter for what? Almost probably 8 years or better.
Yeah, eight plus years. Yep. I've been doing my business since February of 2013, and I think I joined the WBN chapter shortly after that, like maybe March or April.
Wow. And here you are in 2021, still with us.
I know, it's a great organization. I've learned a lot of really important things of how to network. I didn't come from a business background. I was a preschool teacher, and I'd never had run my own business before. And I have learned a lot of good networking techniques, learned how to make a 30-second commercial, how to talk about my business, my service that I provide. And I just enjoy the whole amount of camaraderie between strong professional women that own their own businesses. It's a struggle to be a woman in business sometimes. So it's really nice to have other people in your corner that know what you're going through and are very supportive. So I just think the WBN is a really good resource for any woman to have that's in business.
Awesome. That's our goal, is to connect women together and empower them and build that relationship, that trust, and that business knowledge. So yay, I'm happy to hear that. So let's go right into that. So you said your background is preschool teacher. So tell us, how did you go from preschool teacher to professional organizer?
Well, it's a weird path, that's for sure. When I was younger, my original background was administrative type work, as clerks we used to be called back in the day. I did payroll, personnel, accounts payable. So I learned all the ins and outs of that kind of part of the work, which actually lends itself to what I do now, because I can help people with their paperwork and setting up filing systems and a little bit of time management processes that can help them be more efficient and get more things done in a day. And then I was really tired of answering phones and filing. So at a later age in life, I went back to school and got my degree in early childhood education. And from that, I became a preschool teacher for about 12 years. And I found that when I transitioned into professional organizing after I retired from teaching, I found that a lot of the same things that I did in my previous jobs, setting up a supply cabinet, organizing children's books, organizing manipulatives, because we rotated toys every month. We would change the classroom every month, so we put new things out. And before, it was just a hot mess. Our manipulative cabinet and the books were a hot mess. I took it upon myself one year to organize all the children's books and label them, and basically made a directory for all the teachers. And so as a professional organizer, that's something that carries over, of knowing how to get started, how containers help with maintaining boundaries and limits for what you have. And so all of those experiences that I've had in previous professions really lend themselves to being an organizer. And the way I got started was basically, I watched a couple of episodes of Hoarders, and I know a lot of people watch that and cringe. I was intrigued. I wasn't so much looking at the clients and the ways they live. It was difficult to look at and know that a lot of people do live like that. But what I was more interested in was how the professionals, the therapists, and then also when the organizer came in and helped them go through the process, and I saw the work, and it's all sped up, of course, for TV, but just how they did the work and what they were able to achieve for those clients. And it truly did change a lot of their lives. And so in a scaled down way, that's what I do for my clients. I really help change their lives. So many people are inundated with stuff. It's everywhere. And visual clutter, anything you see around you, and it's too much, it's visual clutter. It clutters up your brain too. So by kind of releasing some of that, you can really, truly change the way somebody lives.
Yeah, that's amazing how you can go in there and see it that way, where the rest of us are just overwhelmed sometimes.
Yeah. And that's the main thing I get from my clients is when someone's at the point where they're ready to let go of their things and they've made the decision to call me, hire me, pay me to do this for them, they're ready. And one of the main things that they tell me is, I don't know where to start. I'm overwhelmed. I start doing it and then I get so discouraged because it's not fast enough and all that. And what I tell them is that that's why you call someone like me, because I know where to start. And it's just you start. You have to start somewhere, right? You pick a corner, you pick a closet, you pick a drawer, you pick a cabinet, and you just work on that area and really try not to let yourself get distracted with going to other areas. Ping ponging, I call it, where you're pinging and then you're ponging and then you're pinging.
Yes, that's I always call that squirrel.
Yeah, swirling, ping ponging, yeah.
It really does work, and having that third party person disattachment, I think, is very helpful too. For me, I mean, in the past, you've helped me out, and it's like just having that, are you really connected to this? Where we are sometimes emotionally attached to our stuff or monetarily attached to our stuff. I know how much I paid for that, but we're not using it. It just ends up to be clutter. So having that professional person there to kind of help you let go of it is good. I mean, you have to be in the right mindset. Like you said, you have to be ready to do it. Ready. But sometimes just that little nudge is good enough.
Yes. And being that we call it the third eye, the distant third eye. I'm not emotionally attached to your stuff, but I understand that people become emotionally attached to their belongings. And I'm not a cutthroat person that says, well, you can't have any of that. You just have too much. You got to get rid of everything but one. That's not how I operate. My philosophy, if you want to put it that way, is it's your stuff. I'm here to help you let go of some of it and help you make the hard decisions. I'll help you talk through it. And sometimes just having somebody ask you a question like, when's the last time you used that? Honestly, when's the last time you used that? And they think about it. It's like, oh my God, it's probably been about a year since I've even been in that closet. Okay. Then that's when we have the why are you keeping it kind of thing, and then deciding to let it go.
Right. So what is it like if we were to call you? What's the process like?
Sure. And on my website, that's one of the areas, it's one of the tabs I have is the FAQs, the frequently asked questions. And that's one of them is, what does it look like when you start to work with an organizer? For me, a lot of organizers are different. I mean, everybody's different, of course, but a lot of organizers kind of tend to work the same way, where we want to have a phone conversation with you, 15, 20 minutes. And in that time frame, I get a chance to hear what your needs are. Needs, in this case, needs and goals are different. Needs are more like, I can't stand this anymore. I really need to get my living room cleaned up. The goal is, what do you want that room? How do you want that room to function? So in that 15, 20-minute phone conversation, I kind of talk about your needs and wants. And then I set up an actual in-person assessment. And I tell people it's about an hour because I come in, we meet each other. I start looking around the house and I want to see the whole house, all the closets, cupboards, everything, garage, sheds, anything you've got on your property, because it gives me an idea of where potential storage could be utilized. So that's really the first part, is doing the assessment. And I get to know the person, and I want them to feel and trust me, because what I do with my clients is very personal. I'm literally sometimes in their underwear drawer sorting through underwear and bras and panties and all that kind of stuff. So I want them to trust me. And it's a big, big part of my job, is to gain their trust, because if they don't trust me, they're not going to let go of anything because you're thinking I have an ulterior motive, and I don't. I just want to help them get rid of stuff. So after the assessment and you've agreed to work with me, we set up an appointment, and I do have an organizing agreement that I have my clients sign. It's not a contract per se, but it just kind of sets out my rules, policies, cancellation policy, fee policy. If they are giving up items for donation, I take what I can fit in my car away that day. And I have them sign a form just saying that you knew you were donating that, you saw it leave the house, and you can't ask for it back, because once it's gone, it's gone. Like, I don't go back to the thrift store donation place and try to get it back. And then really the first assessment, after the assessment, we just start working together. We've already determined what area you want to work on first. And I bring bags, boxes, garbage bags, donation bags, boxes for delicate for donation items, and we just get started. 3 to 4 hour sessions is really good. I prefer 4 because you can get a lot more done. And we just pick an area and we start. And it often it looks worse before it gets better. It's like anything, because I pull everything. If we're working in a craft room, I'm pulling everything out, and you're going through it, and you're just making decisions, and donate, keep, trash, whatever. And then close to the 4 hour mark, I start to put everything back, and it may not look perfect yet because it might need another pass through, and you might need some containers to kind of keep, like I talked about before, keeping the limits and boundaries. That's what containers do. So.
Right. Those are the tips that you've always given me that I have stuck in my head and I have utilized, and they work great. One is spreading everything out and not trying to piece it, looking through it. Spreading it out, seeing what you have, because it's amazing when you're looking at all of it going, oh my gosh, this is it. And then sorting. That was a huge help for me. And then also the containers. Oh my gosh. That is so true. And clear containers too. I mean, I used to not like clear containers because I didn't really want to see all the stuff that was in it, but it does. Clear containers make such a huge difference. For me, it did. And then racks and like the pantry and stuff that you had, suggested to me. And oh my gosh, what a game changer when you can see what you have, because that, as a clutter person, I can say when you can actually
recovering clutter.
what you can, when you can see it, you don't tend to get as much, because that's the problem, is you might have it, but you don't know where it is because you're not organized. You have clutter, so you don't see it. So what do? You go and buy it again, and you end up with 15 staplers, right?
Right.
So,
right. Exactly.
So having those containers and racks and things like that, oh my gosh, what a game changer. So thank you for those tips over the years.
Absolutely.
So we're almost out of time, but real quick, before we get into your contact information, so tell us, like, you can work with anyone, small or big. You could do garages, you could do closets, you could do junk drawers. It doesn't matter, right? From any size, and you've seen it all. So for those of us that are a little more embarrassed and might not want people to come into our homes, you've seen it all. So
I've seen it all.
It's kind of like just second nature to you. It's your job.
It is.
So we should not be embarrassed.
No, don't be embarrassed. And when I do the assessment, I tell them not to clean up. I want to see the house as you live in it. I have worked with hoarding behavior clients, and I've picked up many dead rodents off in a house, because that's when a house is that hoarded, you have to just expect that they're there, because that's what they do. They come in and find that kind of stuff. So I've been in garages with lots of dead animals and rats and that kind of thing. So it doesn't, it's kind of yucky at first, but then it's just part of the process. And you just pick them up, you just get a shovel or whatever and put them in a bag and throw them away.
So there you go. Everybody out there watching, no matter what state your house is in, from a little clutter to a lot of clutter. To a lot of clutter.
Yeah.
Pam is your gal. She can help you, or any professional organizer. If you're watching this and you're not in the Northern California area.
Yeah. Can I just make a plug for NAPO?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So if you're not in California, or Solano County, which is where I work typically, you can go to napo.net, NAPO.net, and search for an organizer in your area. That's the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals. I belong to it. I belong to our local chapter here, which is also a great support group. And we have a lot of events that guests are invited as well. So if you're interested, you can contact me with the contact information that we'll be giving out. And I can you can come to a meeting with us too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
A whole directory right there of getting in touch with a professional organizer. Okay, so then let's go right into how can people get in touch with you? Of course, they can always go to the womensbusinessnetwork.com and click on the directory, and all of Pam's information is there, and you can send her a message directly through the website, which is always fabulous. But if they want to know a little bit more in depth, they would go to your website, which is
pamtheorganizer.com. My company name is Organized Solutions, but that website was taken. So pamtheorganizer.com has my, I'm on Facebook, Pam the Organizer. I'm on Instagram. I'm not real active on Instagram, but phone call is good. Texting at the number listed here, the 707-249-0946. And that's I'm on Yelp, I'm on Google. If you've worked with me, I'd love a review. But yeah, those are the easiest ways to get hold of me. So website.
Awesome. All right. So in closing today, is there any little tip you could give us or anything like that?
Sure. One of the things that I notice a lot when I go into clients' homes is vertical space is lacking. Well, there's vertical space, but it's not being utilized. So when people have problems with that, I always tell them to think vertically, look up as high as you can reach. You can put shelves and all kinds of different things. Book racks, bookcases, those kind of things are very helpful. So think vertical when you're lacking storage, like in a pantry. Look at the side wall, look at the back wall, see if there's some place you can hang a rack or some kind of thing that would hold smaller items that take up valuable space on a shelf in a pantry. So think vertical.
Awesome. That is a great tip. Well, thank you again, Pam, so much for being here today. And thank you for being a member of the Women's Business Network. We appreciate your membership. And so everybody out there watching this, if you're watching it on the replay, you have Pam's information, and follow her on Facebook because she has some great tips that she gives out to you. And then check out NAPO if you need a professional organizer in a different area, or reach out to Pam, and I'm sure she can hook you up with someone.
Yep.
So thank you again, Pam, so much for being here today.
Thanks for inviting me, Marilyn. It was fun.
All right. So we'll end today's Spotlight show, and we'll see you soon.